I'll pass them down.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being here. We can go ahead and start with welcome and introductions. So if we could start to the right.
Rebecca Knudsen, representative from the Fargo Board of Education.
Anna Johnson, Turtle Mountains.
Whitney Fear, Ogallala Sioux Tribe.
Lenore King, Sisseton Wahpeton Oyate.
Sharon White Bear, MHA Nation.
Heather Keeler, Yahunktawa Nation, Eastern Shoshone.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Snyder. I'm an enrolled member of the 3 affiliated tribes.
Sonia Donahue, Turtle Mountains.
All right, and then we would like to ask Willard Yellowbird if he would.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Madam Chair.
Oh, yes, sorry,
Just,
John
a note.
Strand. Okay,
I'm calling in.
okay, sorry, and go ahead, John.
No, just letting you all know I'm on the phone and glad to be in on the meeting. John Strand here.
Sorry about that, John. Thanks for being here.
Welcome, John.
And we would like to have Willard Yellowbird do an opening prayer today.
Good afternoon, everyone. And John, I can see some beautiful pictures here. I just think that maybe you're out in those pictures somewhere. So I'll see you standing by that big tree out here. So it's nice and warm wherever you're at, I hope. But as you know, my name is Willard Yellowbird. I used to work for the city of Fargo years ago. Well, 2 or 3 years ago anyway. But I'm also a chaplain and traditional spiritual care at Stanford Hospital and at the VA. So I do all, so I never really quit working. I just work at the hospitals now as a traditional spiritual care. The prayer will go like this. Creator, hear us, for we are all your children. We come from the 4 directions of Mother Earth throughout the world today. We ask our ancestors to find us and stand with us in prayer and to witness our prayer for all our people, for all our tribes, for all the world. Let us not forget our greatest mother, Mother Earth, for we were taught that we are the caretakers of Mother Earth, and she provides for us a place to live, food, and a place to rest when we cross over to our ancestors. So today, let us stand together as one soul, one spirit, in one voice in prayer. Creator, whose voice we hear in the wind, whose breath gives us the life to all the world. Hear us, for we need your strength and wisdom. Let us walk in your beauty and make our eyes behold the red and purple sunset. Make our hands respect the things that you have made and our ears sharp to hear your voice. Make us wise so that we may understand the things that you have taught us. Help us to remain calm and strong in the face that all comes toward us. Let us learn the lessons that you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Help us seek pure thoughts and acts with the intention of helping others. Help us find compassion without empathy overwhelming us. We seek your strength not to be greater than our brothers and sisters, but to fight our greatest enemy, ourselves. Make us always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes. To all my relatives, friends, and family, aho. Now we'll have the Buffalo River Singers. They'll sing a flag song. So I'll rise just like this is our traditional way, how we do it.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and approve the agenda and the minutes.
I make a motion to approve agenda and minutes as is.
I think there's a change, isn't there? We're taking somebody off.
There's a change?
The presenter for number 5, Edwin Hahn, can't make it today, so you can
Okay.
either remove him or just mention that during his item. It's up to you.
Okay. Okay. Yes, Edwin Hahn will not be attending today. Anybody second?
I'll second the motion
Okay, thank
with the
you.
removal of Edwin Hahn.
Okay, and now we have some exciting,
All in favor?
all in favor, please?
Yay.
Yay.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, now we're gonna go ahead and honor Guy Fox, who had been on the commission here for 11 years. And he's moving forward with some bigger things in his life, so we'd like to honor him. So we can all come out here. Guy? Whitney.
Well, I've known Guy for a few years now, and what I do as a spiritual leader, I become an uncle to everybody, except to Timmy over there. I'm his grandpa, I guess. I don't know. He's just as old as me, but I don't know how that happened. Anyway, but Guy has been a leader in this community. He's kind of silent, but he does speak with a loud voice when he's mad. I tell you. You have to ask his wife that, but that's what I heard. But he's from back home, from where I'm from, and he's also a relation of mine, actually. So Guy is sang with Buffalo Singers. He has another group called Moccasins, Young Red Moccasins. So we're, and he's also one of the esteemed leaders in the Crossroads Powwow. He ready to participate in quite a bit of other things, and so I got to know him and his family and stuff. So it was really an honor to know him and still know him. Not that he's going anywhere. That I know I'll always be always around and stuff, and also to take care of the sweat. He goes, he takes care of that sweat down there, and he did an awesome job and stuff. And I was working with that and stuff, but over the years, a lot of members come and go and stuff. But he was a true person that I was worked on there. Even did the songs for the Sweats, and also sang with the Sweats. And I know one time we were singing, we were there to do a sweat, and he said, "Well, I don't know any sweat songs." And if you ever went to a powwow, you'll have intertribal. I said, well, when we get in there, just sing an intertribal song. So, but if you've never known the sweat, you won't catch that joke. But that's what it was. Anyway, he was, he's really a passionate, and he's really, I was glad for him to call me uncle and to be my nephew. But the honor comes, as we go, and I look around, I said, look at all the woman warriors here. And John, he's out there too. And God, it kind of reminds me of my great-great-grandfather, who was the chief of Rickerols. He had about half these wives and stuff like that, so not me. I only can handle one, so. But anyway, Guy, like I said, he's really prominent, and he's really works out there, and I like to see how he matured from just working with Scott to owning his own company and to hiring people. And I was working to strive to be betterment. So he's really a person that our Native people and our children and men can look up to in a good way. Those are the persons that we like. Those are the persons that we can understand and look at their spirit. Not at the body or at he's got a good body, a physical body anyway. I heard he does a lot of weights and stuff like that. But, we look at his spirit, the strong lightness and the strong brightness of his spirit. And that's how we should look at everybody. Not at their physical appearance, but at their spirit. And when their spirit is strong, as Guy, you can see the brightness in it. And then it flows out to touch his family, to touch his members, to touch his community. So I'm glad that I get to do the little talk on Guy. And I probably can say a lot more, but we're going to get on with this doings, and they're going to honor him. We're going to honor him in a good way, and they're going to present him with a blanket. And I told him just to keep it, how it is as a man, because they were going to wrap you around it. And I said, well, no. Traditionally, you just fold it on the side of on his arm. So we want to do tradition. So if you want to present that, and you have a plaque for him too, don't you? Once you come and bring the plaque and give that to Whitney, so Lenore and Whitney can present that to him. Come up in front. Let us stand in this honor to honor Guy. Black Horse, good powerful name. As we start to honor him, we would like everybody to come and shake his hand, hug him. Give him a little kiss if you want to. No, just a kiss. Come and shake his hand. That's a good way. like to thank my nephew, because as my nephew, as an uncle, I can tease him. So I don't know if anybody gave you a peck, but no, yes. Okay.
Okay, and here we are. We are going to invite our new member, Sonia Donahue, to be a part of our Native American Commission. You can step out here, Sonia, and we're going to pray for you. We're going to pray. Willard's going to come back up here, and we'll honor you for being here with us and being a part of us. Okay.
There again, I guess I've been with this program since it started in 2005, so it's been 15 years. It just came out of emails between Jessica Thomason and Pat Zavro, the chair, he was the city coordinator for the city of Fargo. And we start emailing back and forth because one of our programs, our Native programs in the city, lost all its funding. The funding was taken away. And they were wondering, how could we help the community? How could we help our people? So we start emailing back and forth back in 2005, how we could help. And it became about starting a Native American Commission. And the thing about this Native American Commission was the first one that was under the city government in the nation in 2005. The first one, I think we started in 2006, but the first one in the nation under a city government. 9 months later, Duluth got one. And then I started, since I was the liaison for the commission, then I started getting calls from Montana, Alaska, Bismarck, Grand Forks, asking how we did it, how could they do it. But we were the first ones. We have made big strides in this city. We need to make bigger strides. And as I see all the Native, I see all the commissioners come and go. I think Sharon is the last one on the 2006, 2005 commission. We still need to work together. As a unit, as a family, as a community. When this was made for our Native community here in Fargo and for the area to help our people here. But as we got bigger and bigger and got known, it expanded. We have individuals that represent us throughout the North Dakota sometimes. But that's how big what we need to be, and we still need to start working together and quit fighting among each other. We still need to do that. Just because we have different tribes, we all have the same spirit and the same heart for all our people, for all our tribes, and for our non-Native relatives. Because even our non-Native relatives, they're related to us in spirit. We're no different in spirit. But I'd like to say the prayer to start us for this new Sonia Belcourt? Okay. I look at all these ladies behind me and I said, I don't want to say and get hit with the side of the head or something like that. So, Hear us, Creator, for we are all your children. Creator, we thank you for all that you have given us. We thank the lessons that you have taught us and for the life that you have allowed us to lead. We thank you, Mother Earth, for your beauty and nourishment. We thank the spirits of the universe for their guidance, protection, and direction. Creator, we thank you for that white spiritual light that surrounds us, for that white spiritual light transmutes all love into, all negative love into love and healing. We thank you, Creator, for healing our souls, for healing our spirit, for healing our body. We call upon the power of the universe to allow us happiness, prosperity, healing, and love. We call upon the power of the universe for the good relationships to all things, for we are all related in your spirit. We call upon the spiritual power of the universe for the 4 sacred directions of all our people, of all our tribes. We call upon the spirit of the universe for the magic, miracles, and faith we have in you, Creator. We honor you, Creator, as we honor all things seen and unseen. We honor you, Creator, as we honor our ancestors, as we honor ourselves. When we first started, I smudged all the new people, all our new members back in 2006. All our every one of them we smudged, and then we also smudged the city commission, and that was on the other side. We did smudging. I smudged that. I had a spiritual leader, Tom Stillday from Panema, come down, and he did the smudging and stuff. And I was teasing about that because everybody was wondering. It was a big crowd, and I said I smudged all our members, all our tribal members. I said before we started, I said we also smudged the chambers too. And I said, but we had to smudge it twice for all the things that go on in there, so we cleansed it. So, but today as we smudge, we smudge in a good way because everybody that first came into to sit on the board here, we're all smudged. They do it because we all want to start the same way. And the first thing that we do as a smudging, we smudge your heart. We'll cleanse our heart of all anger, hatred, sickness, desires, hurt, and negative energy. Then we cleanse their mind of all bad thoughts, influences, fear, sickness, and hurt, and negative energy. We always do that in my tradition. We always do that in that way because the heart is when the spirit first dwells, when you're just in your mom's womb. That's where the spirit comes to. We do the second thing in the mind. The mind is where the soul comes. And that's where it dwells. The body is from Mother Earth. So if you think about that, you protect your heart first. Protect your mind. And then we're all the same in that direction. We all have that same energy and spirit. So as I smudge Sonia, I'll smudge your heart, I'll smudge your mind, and what I do too, a lot of times, I smudge from the feet first, and I go up, pushing everything up out to the universe. But by doing that, I also ask Mother Earth to lift up her healing and passionate and strength energy to Sonia, which will stay within her. So we also do that for Mother Earth, for she's a powerful woman. We wouldn't even be here without Mother Earth, right? She gives us food. When we cross over, she gives us a place to rest. So we respect her in that way. So we'll start the smudging.
this concert. You know,
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, so did I.
Thank you and welcome, Sonia. Okay, we're gonna go and skip over the Light Spring with Edwin Hahn, and we have the NDSU Land Acknowledgement Statement. You can come up to the front over here.
We have a whole group
Okay.
that's coming up.
Hello, thank you for allowing us to be here today. It's an honor to be here. I've actually never been in this room and it's a little intimidating, so I'm gonna try to keep my thoughts together here, but I'm joined with a couple of my colleagues. I'm gonna give them a chance to speak in just a minute here, but my name is Sinkis. Pronouns are her, she, and her. I work in the admission office at NDSU and am here to give a little introduction to the land acknowledgement that we've been working on and just share a little bit of background before we have some discussion on it. And we feel at NDSU it's really important to honor and acknowledge and remember the land we're on and its people that were here before NDSU was established. And so we realize that many other higher ed institutions across the region, across the nation, have land acknowledgements in place. And we researched and worked with them to kind of develop the two options that we're presenting to you today as well. And so with that, we have presented two options and we're looking for your feedback on them. Questions that you may have, we can address those as well, but I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Creighton to share a little bit more background as well.
Sure. My name is Creighton Brown. My pronouns are he, his, and him. I serve as the Inclusive Excellence Initiatives Coordinator, which is a super silly title. But I also serve as co-chair of the Campus-Wide Inclusion Committee. And so one of the ways that we've been using or trying to normalize land acknowledgement at NDSU, kind of reflecting what Sinkis said, we are a land grant, land-based institution, and so it's really important to recognize the land that we are on. So all of the inclusion programming that we do, we read this before any of the actual programming begins. We also open our inclusion committee meetings with a reading of land acknowledgement, which is really important. I think it helps set the tone for the work that we're all there to do. And with that, we'll turn it over to my colleague, Vanessa.
Sure. Hi, my name is Vanessa Tibbetts. I'm Oglala Lakota. I'm originally from South Dakota. I work at the American Indian Public Health Resource Center that's housed at NDSU, so I am a tribal member who is also an employee at NDSU, and I just want to support these guys' efforts in the land acknowledgement because I think it's really important for our people and for other people who are at NDSU and who live in North Dakota to recognize our indigenous homelands who are here. And I think it's a really great opportunity to help work on reconciliation with our tribal nations and our non-native friends. And so I'm just here to support the land acknowledgement efforts and turn it over to Ryan.
Good afternoon, my name is Ryan Eagle. I'm an enrolled member of the Mandan Hidatsa Rikra Nation, and I also work at NDSU at the American Indian Public Health Resource Center. I would like to second everything my colleagues have just said and add a couple extra remarks. Our land is not just the space we occupy, it's the depository of our culture, history, and traditions. A land acknowledgement, in my opinion, will really help to raise awareness about our Indigenous history that is far too often suppressed, forgotten, and disregarded. This is important not only for us as Indigenous people, but particularly for our Native youth that need to hear this. and also for the non-Indigenous population that reside here in our lands today. Thank you.
There's one more thing I forgot to add, and that Creighton kind of alluded to this, but there's been several groups that we've been working with across campus as well. So different organizations, different stakeholders that we've been presenting this these options to, but also we've been in talks with several community elders outside of campus who have ties to NDSU or just have very much a lot of background about the community in the area we live in. And so I forgot to add that earlier, so I wanted to make sure that I emphasized all the folks who've been part of this process up until this point.
I also wanted to kind of roll off of what she just said. At NDSU, we developed a group called the Indigenous Peoples Alliance. So it brings together students, staff, and faculty who are Indigenous and who are allies to our Native students to really help support our students at NDSU and our staff who might not always get the support that is needed being a Native American person on campus.
So with that, any questions for us or any discussion that we can contribute to or elaborate on for you?
Thank you, and we'll start. John, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't, Madam Chair.
Okay, we can start to the right if you want to start.
I don't have any questions. This is really wonderful, welcoming work. It has me thinking about other organizations in our community and whether they're public entities or private entities, and thinking about statements and acknowledgements that those groups might be interested in developing. As a liaison to the Fargo Public Schools, this is something that I could take back in terms of a suggestion, so I'm curious to see where we go from here. And I'm imagining you're looking for our feedback on these statements, so I'd look to the rest of the group for feedback on that.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I'm gonna keep it brief. I like the number 2.
Hi, thanks for coming. And I like both of the versions, and I think either one that is chosen will do something that's needed to be done for a long time and is a really huge step towards reconciliation for sure. So thank you for that work.
Okay, I have no questions, but Sharon?
No, I don't have any questions, but thank you very much, all of you, for doing that work. Right. Appreciate it.
I'm gonna pass, just because I'm part of the group that's working on this.
So first off, I just want to say thank you. This may seem like a small step, but this is a gigantic step for educational equity for our higher education institutions. I personally appreciate statement number 2 because it starts out, we want to collectively acknowledge. So it's not just the entity as NDSU, but anybody who participates in the community at large is acknowledging that the land that this institution and this city government and is founded on. And so first off, thank you. The only other question I have is if you're looking for more input from the community, would there be a possibility to include a form submission page on the NDSU site for just voting statement 1 or 2, no edits, just which one do you prefer? That's just a thought for community input. And that's all I have to say. And again, thank you, this matters.
As a former NDSU employee, I am very impressed with your support for the Indigenous employees and students there. And I'm for both statements, so.
Okay, thank you so much. Hopefully some of us will get a hold of you and help you along with this, okay?
I do have one more question. Are you asking the committee for anything in support, or what is there something like that you would like to have?
Can I answer this one? Yes. Okay, sorry. I think our biggest thing is sticking to the values of making sure that we go through our elder process and looking for our leaders in our community to kind of give us which one you feel, or both, is fitting and respectful. We do have a lot of conversations going on with some different elders in the community about it as well. And so if you want to take a look and give any feedback, or if there's one that you approve, I just think that when we start to move forward and we use this, it's really important to acknowledge the fact that this has been a community effort, not just a couple people behind the scenes developing a statement. So I think the only thing we're looking for is your input on if you prefer one of them, and then possibly moving forward if this is something that we could start to develop on a city level at some point.
Okay. I was just thinking like a letter of support of your things that you're doing. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have Donald Kress here with the 2020 census.
We have a template for it too. That we just say we support.
PowerPoint here. See here. It was just him. Stand by here, folks.
The website. Census jobs.
Oh, yeah. The computer ate our homework here, unfortunately. Where's that? There you go. Wait.
Madam Chair, while they get that organized, would I be able to ask a question real quick?
Sure.
Just as a heads up, I will be asking questions for funding regarding any events centered around the North Dakota Census Initiative. So just a heads up, Donald, that's a coming.
Madam Chair, I can speak a little bit to this. I was at the conference there for the census, and then we had a breakout session with the tribal leaders, the people representing the different tribes, and we're trying to, of course, it's a little bit different for us, but it could be similar. They were trying to decide how to reach those hard-to-reach people. So we were also concentrating on, we're already hard to reach, but the hard-to-reach people within that. So that was some of the things that we did there to, try to think about for the census, and what it would take to reach those people, which, it's mostly on the ground. You have to do the footwork to find them and get them. So, thank you.
Commissioners, we regret the delay. Good afternoon. I'm Donald Kress with the Department of Planning and Development. Thank you so much for having us on your agenda today, and allowing us to participate in your meeting too. Of course, I used to work with Willard when he was here, and I always enjoy hearing his insightful and inspirational words. And I also got a chance to work with Mr. Fox on one of his development projects a couple of years ago for his business, and enjoyed working with him. And so I'm excited to be here and be able to recognize him as well. So thank you for those opportunities. We're here today, my colleague Tia Braceth, who you all know here, to pick up on what Commissioner Whiteberry just told us about what we're doing with the Complete Count Committee. One of the big parts of the census, as you know, Commissioners, is the volunteer aspect of this. But the census actually goes beyond that and pays people to do a lot of census jobs. They need a lot of folks, and a lot of these people are going to be out on the street in the community, going door to door, working directly with individual households. It's a great opportunity. They do pay actually pretty well. I was at the meeting that Commissioner Whitebear told us about there in Bismarck on Monday, and they told us that they got the wage to about $23 an hour in North Dakota. So when you look on the census website, it says 21. It's between 18 and 23, depending on what actual job you do. They actually, our state folks worked with the U.S. Census to kick that wage up because of the good economy we have here. It's hard to get workers, so we got that available. There are some requirements for it that's stated. You can go to the Census Jobs website here, and this will tell you all about it. You apply online. There is a security and background check, including fingerprinting, that you go through if you get selected, but that is done at no cost. The Census does have a contractor who will help you through that, so there is no cost to apply or do the background check. You probably do need access to a car, and you do need an email address to apply, because all your training and work is done online. If you have, and you have to be, if you're a male, you have to have registered for the Selective Service System, which apparently is a requirement for any federal job, I believe. But you can go through this, apply online here, and we'll talk about competitive wages, support your community. They are all temporary positions. Some of them go as late as July 31st, which is when all the census counting officially ends. And it is a part-time thing, but it's very flexible. We know people have different jobs, different lifestyles, home and parenting and family care responsibilities, and so these jobs can work around it. You basically work your own schedule, as I understand it. And it's an important thing to do. I mean, we're all in the Complete Count Committee, we're all very proud to be working on this. As Commissioner Whitebear said, our focus is on what the census calls the harder to count populations, to reach out to them, and we have a number of strategies going here. In fact, I spent all morning yesterday just doing this. And probably all afternoon this afternoon when we're done here. So, but these job opportunities are really great. Folks of all communities are encouraged to apply. You will work across the community, but oftentimes if you have a community-specific person, they might work more directly with that. We are not involved in the outreach on reservations. We just do the city of Fargo here, but statewide and the federal census is working on that door-to-door too. So I don't know if there's an option when you apply here, if you can ask to be involved in that if you're interested. But you can this is the 2020census.gov jobs website here, and you can take a look at that. Understand these are federal jobs. They're not City of Fargo jobs. They're not through the state. They are direct federal jobs. And Tia, did you have any more to add on that?
Hi, the only thing that I have to add is this FAQs on the top ribbon there is really wonderful. There are probably over 100 questions in there. So if you're telling people about this job, make sure you tell them about that particular part of this website. It's really helpful.
Right. And this summarizes what would have been in our PowerPoint. That was just a PowerPoint version of this, really. So you didn't miss anything too dramatic there. So that will, and if you have a veteran's preference, that can help you on that. And so it's, and then another point that was made, and I don't know if you were there at the time, Commissioner White, there when they talked about this, but people who, as you look at that last question there, currently receive assistance, and so making additional money might challenge your ability to remain on those programs. We have an exemption for that, so that if you are receiving a part of these programs, you do receive money for your census job. That does not count against you, one might say. So you're an exemption for that. And so that's that was a big concern. That's something in our state office really and state folks really work to account for. So.
And so underneath this one, when you open it up, it actually doesn't show Minnesota or North Dakota with a waiver for that right now, but it sounds like you've been told that at the state, so
we're told that it does. And
ignore that.
We can, although we will, we'll be talking to our census rep and we'll verify that again here, but that's what they told us at the meeting. So were you there, ma'am? When they
Check
were
with Emily. Yeah, yes, they said that it would be exempt.
Okay.
And yes, there is a place you can specify if you wanted to work with the Urban Native Committee.
Well, again, we're here in our planning department office if you do have any questions, and of course we have Chelsea there part-time too, so we're all glad to see her during the week there. So if you do have questions, please feel free to contact me or Tia, and we'll probably have some more updates or information as you go forward. The ideal, just a real short timeline here, the goal of the 2020 census is to get most people to answer online if you can, and they're going to quite quite an effort to make that all come together. So starting the week of March 12th, the Census Bureau, the U.S. Census Bureau, will be sending out letters to everyone saying, here's how you contact the website. The website will open that day, and they encourage everybody to do it online. We do have a multilingual part to this too, that we're working with our partners in the Complete Count Committee for folks who would need different language assistance. We're going to do some work on some of our promotional materials in several other languages. And then the ideal would be that everyone responds by April 1st, which is the self-response day. There are other options to respond by phone, and there's the old style paper if you really want to do it that way too. So that's what most of are used to, but just the idea of sending out how many million pieces of paper, it's easier if we can, it saves your tax dollar if we do it all online there if possible. So again, we're here to help you out if you have any questions. Again, we appreciate your participation. I know you're all participating in various things, but again, Commissioner Whitebear has been on our committee there and come up with a lot of great ideas. We've had our meetings too. We appreciate that. So again, anything we can do for you, please let us know. Thank you for letting us be part of your agenda, Commissioners.
Thank you, Donald and Tia. I'm going to just see if anybody has any questions, starting with John.
Nothing, Madam Chair.
Okay, go ahead. We'll start to the right.
No questions, thank you.
No, I don't have any questions yet, thank you.
No questions for me, thank you.
No questions, but you guys are doing a great job. I've never heard of the census being so published or whatever like this before, so.
We have good partners, ma'am. So
I don't have any questions right now, but I would ask if Ryan and Vanessa and
The NDSU team?
what they would stay, because I know you guys have, we signed you up as part of the census, and I did bring quite a few things back with me, some bags for each person, and then I have the big posters. If you didn't bring any back, Donald, you could.
no, ma'am, I didn't actually.
I have a
just brought
pack of posters anyway in my car, so I could
do
pan
you?
those out, yep.
Okay, I brought up just some example things, but I
Okay.
didn't load up.
Okay, thanks.
No questions that I don't think I can find on the ribbon. Thanks.
In an effort to conserve time, I'll follow up with the city directly about city funding available for events specific to census. I'll also follow up with Sharon Whitebear, who's our liaison for this area for Indigenous community, and Cheryl Ann Carey and Tawny Kale. So thank you guys very much.
Sure. If I may follow up on that, Commissioner Whitebear, we were talking about a location the other day.
Right.
So I'm working on that.
Oh, wonderful, thank you.
I don't have a final here, but I'm working on it for you.
Okay, thank you.
No questions from me, thank you.
I did think of one thing. I work at Family Healthcare, and I think we would probably be willing to take some posters or something
Sure.
over there. We provide the initial and full refugee physicals for new arrived refugees in the community, and then we subsequently, our midwives see quite a bit of the Somali and Sudanese community for prenatal care, so
Right.
pretty big breadth
Yes,
of.
we will definitely include you, and we are working on materials in those languages as well.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
So-
Yeah, we have interpreters in-house too that might be able to help.
So coordinating the language thing is a big part of what we're working on here. So, okay, thank you so much, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we can just ask if there's any old business anybody wants to talk about or bring up. No? Okay, then we're gonna go ahead here. We're gonna do the winter powwow summary, and I think, did you have
Well,
something
didn't we have some things on there?
for old business?
Yes, that winter powwow, is that
Okay,
someone
yep.
going to give a summary, or the native programs, Chelsea, to give that summary, or no?
Okay, for the winter powwow would be probably Heather.
Yep, I'll just keep it quick, just because I know that we're running short of time, but it was a really successful event. I have to be honest and say I was kind of on the fence about moving it away from New Year's Eve, because I really like the idea of providing a sober opportunity for our community, but we had a great turnout. It's hard to really count specific numbers sometimes, but what we kind of documented with our food and everything, we think over 400 people came at some point throughout the night. And then we had 50 dancers that came, and what I love is that a lot of them were youth dancers. And so for me, it just shows that our culture is not coming to an end anytime soon, that our youth is really investing their time and energy into some of our traditions and culture. But it's always a great time. It was fun because Guy's youth drum group was there and they did an amazing job. So I think it was another successful event.
Thank you. Yes, it was really, really good to see all the people and like you said, the kids. It was really good. All right, then we do have FM Native Programs Consultant update with Chelsea.
Yep, I'm going to defer to Whitney Fear as she is the elected representative for the NAC from the Board of Directors. There you go.
Hello. So we had our first meeting a few weekends ago, and it was great conversations were had. We talked a lot about the history of relations with one another in the community, and how that's went in the past and how we want to move forward and ahead in the future. Chelsea, did you want me to read the board members?
If that's absolutely up to you. Right now, we have our 7-member board, working board in place, along with a draft mission and vision that we will ratify and finalize this Sunday. So Nicole I guess I'm going to defer back to the commission. Would you guys like to know who the board members are?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So the board members consist of myself as a liaison for the Native American Commission and as a member of the community, and Senator Tim Mathern, the elected representative for District 11, and he is also at Prairie St. John's as the Public Policy Director. Ryan Eagle is here today, Public Health Research Project Manager at NDSU. Audra Stonefish, Harm Reduction Center and Mobile Outreach at the City of Fargo, and as well as the Acting Native Homeless Liaison for the city. Brandon Beatty, Native Circle Youth Group co-founder and liaison from YouthWorks. Jordan Donner, social worker at the Fargo VA. And then Tracy Wilkie, a community advocate who specializes in human trafficking, youth interventions, and domestic violence prevention. And maybe I can share just the draft mission.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we really worked hard and thoughtfully on the mission and vision. I think it's great. And so our draft mission is to honor the sacrifices of our ancestors by establishing a safe and inclusive space worthy of our diverse Indigenous community, to collaborate and build social equity through education, awareness, respect, and to sustain our Indigenous programs for future generations. Our draft vision is to connect, strengthen, and unite the FM area Indigenous community.
Thank you. Is there anything more that we can, and anybody questions? John, we can start with you.
I'm fine, Madam Chair. Thank you.
No questions. Thank you for the update. Great work so far.
I don't have any questions right now either.
I don't have any questions, but I know that you are all working very hard, and I'm really happy to see the people you have on your board.
We're lucky to have them.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for the work you're doing.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add, but I will say that is a stellar lineup for the board. You did a really good job. I know that you put a lot of effort into finding specific people, so I think it just goes to show how good you've done in this.
Thank you.
No questions. Thank you.
I also want to put that compliment back onto the board members. They jumped in knowing the requirements, and also to our community for building the capacity in us as leadership to provide what they need for their community centers.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Chelsea. Okay, we're gonna move on with any public comments out there. Do you have one?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Promise I'll make this 2 minutes. So earlier I handed out you know what, can I borrow yours? Thank you. An event overview for the YWCA Woman of the Year. As everybody can see and was noted many times today, we are now, every single enrolled member identifying as Indigenous is female. And one of the things that we have talked about is honoring Sharon Whitebear and the appropriate ways to do that. She was at the meeting in 2006 at City Hall when funding was withdrawn and our Native American Center was closed originally. She has been, she was one of the originating members of the Native American Commission, has been involved in creating programming and supports for our Indigenous community here for, I want to throw out ages, but for 30 some odd years, 28, 30 years. And is never one to put herself in the forefront or ask for recognition. And so I think that a very respectful way that we as the female members and the commission as a whole can honor Sharon is by nominating her for the Lifetime Achievement Award as a Woman of the Year. So before you, you have the nomination information. What's required is 2 letters of support. I would like to make a motion today that the NAC as a whole approve the letter of recommendation as the NAC. And the second letter of recommendation will be coming from Mayor Tim Mahoney. So, and then I will abstain because I am one of the nominating entities, and I'll put it through and I'll take care of it. But again, the motion would be to agree as a commission to support this nomination for Lifetime Achievement for our community and for Ms. Whitebear.
I'll make that motion to.
Just keep going.
To nominate Sharon, or to write a letter of support for the nomination of Sharon Whitebear.
I second that.
Everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, and we have a staff report here for the Sweat Lodge update. Nicole has that? Okay, Nicole.
Yeah, I guess, again, in an effort of time, you have in your packet a memo from me, and I'd be glad to answer any questions or feel free to further explain or describe some of our next steps. Some of our next steps include community outreach with the actual users of the Sweat Lodge to learn more about some of their needs and uses, seeking partnerships with nonprofits, as well as seeking financial resources. We recognize past volunteers put a good 20 to 30 grand at least into the supporting of the Sweat Lodge facility, and so we want to honor that and are thankful of that and looking for those financial resources elsewhere. So I'd be glad to answer any questions, or hopefully this isn't coming too surprising. We've been, critiqued on not having good communication between the city and the Sweat Lodge users, and so one of the goals of the memo is this gets published, the press picks it up, and the community picks it up. So having the technical memo to help further describe the information.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. Does anybody have any questions? John?
I'm wondering if he hung up.
He could have.
Yeah.
Okay.
No questions, thank you.
I just have one question. So you're reaching out now to other people to run the Sweat Lodge? Like manage it?
Yeah, so that'll be, we'll be looking between city leaders and other users and organizations to see if we can get some support to manage the facility in a kind of more official way, if you will. So we recognize the community engagement and the community need to support this and it to coming from the community, but at the same time, having that predictability factor, like saying, like the community room at the library, you know, there's a phone number to call. It's pretty transparent. You have a, you know, kind of staff to help manage it. So trying to aim for that type of structure.
So is there a way we can keep it open in the interim, or does it have to be closed?
Right now, we don't have the support system because some of the volunteers have stepped away.
Sure.
And so that's probably our biggest gap right now.
Okay.
Madam Chair, before we continue, I would like to make a motion that the NAC commission members have strategic planning before the end of February 2020 so that we can discuss the needs specifically with the Sweat Lodge and other issues that our community is facing and the best ways that we as a commission can address them. I think that all of us here have had a conversation at one point or another agreeing that that's necessary and needed. And so I would like to first apologize for interrupting, sorry. And second, to make a motion to initiate strategic planning by the end of this month, February 2020. And I'd be more than happy to volunteer to spearhead that committee or that effort.
Okay, so we're gonna make a motion to go ahead with strategic planning by the end of this month.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so is there anybody that wants to hold that?
I'll second that, and I'll add that I'm willing to offer whatever support that Chelsea needs in helping to plan that.
Can I ask a verifying question? Are you saying that you want us to hold this meeting by the end of February, or you want us to lock down a date by the end of February?
I'd like us to have initiated, so just the initiation and the planning portion of it. I think that this issue specifically and the other issues that have been brought to our attention warrant immediate action and discussion. And so if we can just, and sorry, John and Rebecca, but just as the Native Commission members who are enrolled in a federally recognized tribe can sit down together to discuss these issues, I think that that's something that we can accomplish within the next 3 weeks or 20 days.
So you want to actually have a meeting?
At least one, yes, ma'am. Discussion?
Okay, so
I think that if there's any questions about the motion, that we can open it up for discussion, or Sharon, and correct me if I'm wrong, do we do discussion and then vote, or table?
You can do discussion now after the motion was seconded. You can have discussion.
okay, so we had a second motion, right? Okay, so open up the discussion.
I have a question. So is this something that would not involve city resources?
I think that the importance of the Native voice be at the forefront of the very first meeting, and there are things that I would be able to say to Anna that I might not necessarily be comfortable saying to Nicole or to you or John, but it doesn't mean that anybody is excluded from the end result. It's just an opportunity for us to connect with each other.
Madam Chair,
Yes,
I think it's really important to move forward with strategic planning, and I believe that the Sweat Lodge issue and other circumstances suggest that that's a high priority. I'll just remind everybody that if you do have a meeting of a quorum of the group, it's a public meeting regardless, so keep that in mind.
yes.
I can actually, in our bylaws, there's no requirements or standards set for confidentiality. So I am reaching out to the city and different commissions to find out ways that we can hold this meeting as a closed session.
And if I can just add, yeah, it's actually not a bylaw issue, it's a state law. And so the state law requires public meetings, and so you're appointed by the city official, the city commission, and so all meetings have to be public. And so what again, the strategic planning exercise that Catlin had proposed, it's really, that's just a place to start, but the whole point of that is for you to self-organize. And so what I would suggest is, however you want to have this discussion and self-organize and meet, it's really your call, and it doesn't necessarily need, going back to Rebecca's question, not necessarily need to be public business or city resources. It's if your guys are getting together for a cup of coffee or to do, but to have a closed meeting that would require basically jurisdictional threat, and that would be the only way under law that we could do that.
Thank
That
you
I
so
understand.
much. Very much appreciated.
Okay, so what?
No, I don't have any questions or anything right now or comments. It's
I'm just going to make a comment. I disagree of excluding two of our members because they're part of this commission, and that's part of what we've been doing all along is teaching each other and helping each other. And I believe that they would benefit by this because I don't think they were going to go out there. I'm not worried about the confidentiality. I think they bring good insight to what we're doing. And so I disagree with that part of it. I think they should be included.
Yes, ma'am.
I have no questions or comments.
I have no questions or comments.
Call for the question.
Okay, is there any more questions?
I have a question, I guess.
Madam Chair, could
Because it seems a little, kind of a little squishy here in terms of what we'd be voting on, because Sharon, I'm not sure if you were trying to offer an amendment or if you're indicating that you would be voting, how you would be voting. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands what the true motion is and what we're voting on.
I didn't offer it as an amendment. I just offered it as discussion.
Madam Chair,
Yes, John?
could you or somebody repeat the motion?
I would like to make a motion to initiate strategic planning for the NAC commission, or excuse me, the NAC, by the end of February 2020.
Okay, so I'm clarifying, there's no inclusion in your motion to exclude certain members.
No, sir, but that's something that I think that we as a commission can connect with and discuss, and specifically with you, Rebecca, and every commission member. I think that's something that we can do outside of commission meeting time. So it would just be to initiate the NAC strategic planning by the end of this month.
Okay, do we have someone that will second it? Oh, you second it? Okay, then,
I call for the question.
okay, call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Aye.
Motion passed.
Thank you. And I'll be reaching out to everybody, SurveyMonkey and Doodlepole today.
Okay, we're adjourning right now.
Motion to adjourn?
Yep.
We didn't do announcements.
Oh,
Yeah, announcements.
announcements, sorry, skip that.
The only thing I'm going to add is Fargo Indian Education is having their taco sale on Thursday, but they're not delivering. And so I don't know if you guys follow them on Facebook. They do have a pre-order form, but that has to be in by tomorrow. Any orders that are placed are actually getting matched under the Giving Hearts. So we all know how much Indian Ed does for our community, and so this is just a way for us to give back, and I think we all can agree we enjoy Indian tacos.
Say the place again where they're doing that.
Agassiz is where they're, yep,
That's where the
from,
delivery pickup will be.
from 11 to 2. But if you go to the Fargo Indian Education Facebook page is where they have most of their information. Thanks.
Okay, motion to adjourn then?
I have a question,
Oh,
or
okay.
just a comment. And I'm not sure how this works in terms of the development of the agenda. I know that obviously there's collaboration here between the commission and the plan and the department, but I'm wondering if there's a way that it could be more clearly identified in terms of items that would be up for business for making motions and for voting on them, comparison to something that is in a staff report. I would just look at for potentially next time around, some conversation on that. I guess it's a little
So
bit.
I would just say, sorry to interrupt you, Rebecca, I'm sorry, I didn't let you finish.
Well, you probably know, yeah, I'm just thinking in terms of better preparing for commission members. I guess I'm thinking myself as well, so that in reviewing information, being able to be a little bit more aware in terms of something that will be available for a motion, for a vote versus
Yeah.
discussion.
No, and thank you for that comment. Really, we do, just a rules of business, we do have our executive committee meeting, we set the agenda, and we publish the packet accordingly. So the only thing that staff was aware of that was going to be on this agenda that voting on is the action item related to number 2, approving minutes. So this is actually considered to be a no action item meeting, and so in business practice.
Yeah, that's what I figured, so I just wanted us to be sensitive to that, moving forward, just working to tighten that up a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
I second the motion to adjourn, if that's what's on the table right now.
Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, next
Aye.
meeting will be March 5th.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, guys, and good job, Lenore. Congrats.